talking about quarter four for the last few weeks. And the focus on quarter four is because quarter four matters so much. How we end the year really will set the stage for us as far as how we begin the new year. So far, we've talked about the need for focus and really to determine the one thing that will really help us feel accomplished and content at the end of quarter four, only looking at quarter four. And this is something that either is important to us to accomplish and or make progress. And it could be an existing goal or desired result that we had already laid out, or it could be something different. Now, again, remember, this is not specifically about goal achievement at this point. This question is about what, as we look across the landscape of our life, is going to help us feel content, satisfied with how we ended quarter four. So that was the first thing we talked about. That's the key strategy for quarter four, is to really figure out what that one thing is and to hold it to one thing. If we finish that one thing, we can go on to another one. Then we talked about our stop doing list. There's so much more that occurs in quarter four, and generally our lives are already full. So one of the strategies to ensure that we don't end the year overwhelmed and exhausted is to really consider what can we either do less of or stop doing during these 3 months or part of the 3 months to make space for the things that occur during this time of the year. Now we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what is the next piece of this. So I'm assuming that you have created your stop doing list. You've really focused in, perhaps you used last week's strategy of less, more, stop, and start to really help focus. Now we have another strategy. Now this strategy actually is effective throughout the whole year. I find it in particular seems to play a role in quarter four. There is such a thing as decision fatigue. It's real. This is why we can resist the donut at breakfast, and yet by the time we get to the end of the day, we are more likely to say yes to dessert after dinner, even if that hadn't been our plan. As we go through the day and we make decisions, it's like we run out of decision-making power. That's the decision fatigue. One of the best ways to combat decision fatigue is to pre-make decisions. When we make decisions ahead of time and then we come up to that, like what are we going to have for dinner? If we have a complete plan for dinner and it does not include dessert, and we've already decided that, we're much more likely to not eat dessert because the decision has already been made. So the way to counteract decision fatigue is to make as many decisions ahead of time as possible. Again, why am I talking about this specifically in the fourth quarter? Because there seems to be so many decisions. There are invitations we get to go to events. There are things for our kids at school. There are family traditions. There is all kinds of opportunities that come to us that are unique in this time of the year. Some of them you know what you're likely to come across. Pre-make some decisions. I find this works really well for me at the weekly level. That's where I usually start. I'm really looking at what is it that is important to me to accomplish during the week, and then I'm making some decisions, focused work blocks, what time I may be ending a day, a social event or networking event that I'm going to attend. So I start arranging my calendar at the weekly level where I'm pre-making decisions. So I'm pretty much saying during this day, this is what my schedule is going to look like. Now, I do this for business. I have appointments. Outside of business, I'm generally not scheduling things. It's what appears. This time of the year, I find it's just very effective to get a little bit more into that pre-making decisions. So what are the decisions that you can pre-make? It could be, I'm likely to get an invitation to fill in the blank. I'm going to say no. It sounds good, it would be fun, and yet then I'm just exhausted. I'm going to say no. So pre-make decisions on some things you're going to say no to. If you've already made the decision, it's easier when you get that invitation or request to say, I am so sorry, I cannot do that this year. pre-make as many decisions as possible. What are you going to serve at a certain meal or gathering? And can you set the menu ahead of time? Can you even get other people maybe to help? Do some pre-preparation. So we are looking to focus. And in this time of the year, we want to focus on both what we want to do as well as that which we're going to set aside for a period of time. And the more that we can look ahead and make decisions, this is when I'm going to take time off. This is when I'm going to go shopping. This is when I'm going to do the cooking for this event. The more that we can make those decisions and put them in our calendars and share our thinking with other people that are key in our lives, the easier that we are going to make quarter four. And again, remember, as we draw the year to a close, we are looking for really good feelings about quarter four. We want really good feelings about the entire year, but this strategy in particular is about ending quarter four feeling good about quarter four. That gives us that added boost of momentum as we begin the new year. Bye for now. Have a fantastic week.